Okay, I am live. Wow, okay. Hello. There we go, and I'll throw one of those in here too. Sorry, just throwing these links all up into Discord. I hope that everyone can hear me. There we go. Let's just put that there. And this. And here. Hello, welcome. I hope my sound is okay. So, this is the piece that I've been working on Livestream for the last little while. This guy. So this is a little piece on aquaboard, and this is a honey locust branch with all sorts of mosses growing on it it's going to be in my show opening in November. But then I also have some other stuff here. I'm attending a wedding tomorrow and decided I wanted to make a card, actually paint a card. Hi, Steven. So I'll be, I don't know, doing some like watercolor, like loose watercolor florals or something for this. Somewhat outside of my regular wheelhouse. These are, this is canal paper from, what's it? Shoot. Something's seriously wrong with me. This is canal paper from Papeterie Saint-Armand, which is a Canadian, Quebecois paper maker. They make some watercolor papers. Mostly what you can get in stores is their rough finish, and it's like really, really soft and absorbent. They do apparently make other watercolor papers, I've just never seen them, so I could technically probably get something more like a hot press, but it's not stocked in any of the local shops. The only things they stock is this like really, really soft, rough paper, so that's kind of neat. I've also got some handmade paper that I made at a residency. So this is paper made from dog strangling vine. This has absolutely no sizing on it, so it's not really, it doesn't really paint. Like if you put paint on it, it's just gonna like run right through. But I thought maybe I could do something with it, I'm not sure. As well as some pieces of birch bark. Again, like this is like birch paper, which again, I don't really know if I'm gonna use, but I thought maybe that would be something that I could do something creative with. And then, yeah, I'll probably just paint something on these cards, again, for this wedding that I'm attending. Ah, cool. Well, today's live is likely to be a little bit different. Again, because I'm usually working on something for exhibitions, so something more like this one. But today I'm a little out of it and going to be just sort of playing around with different pigments. I've also got, as far as paints, I got a bunch of these heavy steel watercolor tins a little while ago, and have sort of put a bunch of different paints in them, but I was always frustrated that the middle row of this it's too small to fit a regular full pan and too big to put a half pan in. It'll just float around. And then I got 11 full pans from Rosa Gallery, and they're just a little bit smaller than a regular full pan, so they fit really neatly down the middle. So that's what I've got in this set, as well as some other little one-off paints that I got last year for a advent calendar thing that I didn't end up making content of. What paints am I gravitating towards right now for fall colors? That's an interesting question. I don't know that my paints change seasonally that much. I use generally what's at hand. So usually I would be painting with something more like this. This is my Wild Curiosity palette, link in the description, and I have a bunch of other palettes that come with this, and I dig into colors as they're present. Really, I'll paint with whatever's in front of me. As far as like color stories, I guess I've been having fun with some granulation, a little bit more of a moody look recently. Sorry, I'll put these away for a moment. These Rosa Gallery paints, I did a, let's see, I'll move this over. I played with some Zorn palette type playtime, so I did this with gouache, and then a little while later I got the Rosa Gallery paints, and I used 4 of them to make this palette, which was really fun. And so I think I might play with something on that in that general color story again today. Although I'm not entirely sure, I think it might be a little bit too muted. Like, I want it to be a little bit cheerier, so I don't know, I might have some pops of color somewhere. Yeah, I really like this, so I might just do a little bit more of that. I'm not entirely sure what my plan is just yet. Somewhat open to suggestions about what I do. So the story is, we're going to a wedding tomorrow. It's one of my husband's best friends from childhood is getting married, and so we are, yeah, he's in the wedding party. I'm not. I do, of course, have lots of greeting cards, but since I tend towards painting a lot of crusty branches and stuff, they're not always the most cheery and festive. Which is something that I'm working on, but I also figured that I could just paint something on stream today, and just give him a hand-painted card. Since wedding gifts, I mean, we're gonna give a check or cash or something, but would be nice to have something a little bit more personal. So yeah, so I'm thinking I might do a little greeting card, but I don't really know what I'm doing because I just sort of am flying off the cuff right now. So yeah, I'm somewhat open to suggestions about what I do. I've got out some things that I can play with, but I haven't totally decided. Do you have suggestions? What would you like me to do? Oh, this is from, sorry. Am I still enthusiastic? Well, I've got PG-17 in that set there. Sorry, one moment. Let me just get a fresh page here. So I'm happy to play with PG-17 here. Which one's PG-17? PG-17 is right beside the green. That, right? This is, yeah, so this is my PG-17, I think. PG-17 is fun. I could absolutely use some PG-17 here. So actually, since you're here, I can, this, oh shoot, I am, sorry, I need to wash out, I'm using the wrong, I've got my water switched around. One moment. I will move my water to where it's supposed to be because I've been dipping into the wrong water. I'll be right back. And then I spilt a whole bunch of water on my paper. So I'll mop that up. So we'll mop that up. Oy! Wow. Okay, we're gonna move this over because this is... Oy! I'm having a day. Okay, sorry, we'll move this over. Let's see. Am I still enthusiastic? Yes, absolutely. I got these Rosa paints. Largely, one of my big goals was to give me an opportunity to play with PG-17. So one of the ways that I wanted to play with PG-17 is what I already showed you over on that other page. Over here, this Zotanical, I guess, this, it's like a Zorn Plus. So I'd shifted the Zorn palette a little bit where I chose more of a cooler red and a slightly bluish black. So this is a Payne's Gray and a burgundy red, and that already gives me stuff like this like really deep purple color. And then I'd added chromium oxide so that I do have greens in the mix. So then I've got a selection of 4 colors. I've dropped white because then this is a mostly transparent watercolor palette and I can just use the white of the paper. So then this is a 4-color set that includes chromium oxide. And so that was one way that I wanted to play with chromium oxide with PG-17. The other way was I was considering doing a set that was like a secondary palette maybe, but with some really, really bright options. So potentially like this really, really bright orange that, oh gosh, of course I haven't written down what all of these paints are. I do have them somewhere. Sorry, I will find that for you. One moment. That was unhelpful. La 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 la. Let's see. Maybe I should just start with swatching what paints I have here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swatch all of these paints and then I can go through them. So the first one is what Rosa Gallery calls Aureolin. It is not Aureolin. Aureolin, the traditional Aureolin pigment would be PY40, which is a cobalt yellow. And it is lovely and transparent, but it is unfortunately very, very fugitive. And when it fades, it doesn't just lose saturation, it goes gray. So using Aureolin is, you know, not a thing that I really want to do. I'm willing to work with some paints that might fade over time if they fade and they just lose saturation. But with Aureolin, traditionally the PY40, it would turn gray. So instead, what they've used for their Aureolin, or they call it Aureolin, is PY150, which of course one of my favorite paints. Then they've also got this orange. I'll have to look up what the pigment is. It's a really, really bright, like almost a neon, which is fun. I do like this. I got an opera, so this is fugitive. Or sorry, no, this isn't. This is my burgundy red. This is PR177, so it's not the most permanent color, but it is, you know, it's not going to fade to black or anything, to gray. Then I have this is my opera. I'll write this all down. I'll pull up my list with the pigments as well so I can write it all properly down. Anyway, I got these paints. I had a few like limited sets that I thought I would play with. So I got some really bright primary paints, I got some secondaries, and I also got some things that I thought would be interesting to play with this chromium oxide PG17. So PG17 shows up in a lot of convenience mixes by various brands because it's very heavy and it drops out of solution, so it makes some interesting granulation effects. What is this? This is a purple, I think? Yeah. So this is their dioxazine. I thought maybe a dioxazine might be interesting. I do also have 2 tubes of Rosa Gallery paints that these were also from the little, so along with these other paints that I've got along the bottom here, I had a bunch of paints that my assistant and co-op last year went shopping for me for a little like advent calendar sort of situation. So I've also got a quinacridone lilac and a golden brown here that were also in that little advent calendar. They're not in that palette yet, but I could also use them. These ones are something that I bought more recently, again, specifically to experiment with some limited palettes that I wanted to try out. Then this is my Payne's Gray. And so you can see it's almost black, but it does have a little bit of a blue to it. And a little bit of texture. Then I did get myself a PB15. This is just a really bright. I've got 3 greens in this palette. So one of them's a PG8. I'll do that on the next line. One of them is a PG8, so this is PG8, which is, again, it's a somewhat less permanent paint. It does fade a little bit over time in some tests. It's not the most permanent, but it won't fade to gray, so like it'll just lose a little bit of saturation if it's in direct sunlight for a really, really long time. Then I've got my PG17, which is a very similar hue, but as you can see, it's much more, like it's much thicker, it's heavier, it's less, so it's thicker, it's heavier, it's got a little less saturation, but it also just, it's going to drop out of solution, so it's going to create some interesting granulation effects. And then the last color that I've got is this golden ochre, I think it's called, which is a PY43, I believe. So I will go find my, I think I've got some green mixed in there because it's not as bright and saturated as it ought to be, but there we go. I feel kind of bad because I did a sort of a very quick swatch review of one of the Rosa Gallery dot cards early on when their color selection was very limited. What am I missing? Oh, and whoops, sorry, I skipped one. This was one of the other ones that I was most excited about, is this Aureolin green. I'm going to put it over here. The Aureolin green is, it is, I believe, PG 36? I'll have to look it up. I believe it's PG 36 and PY 150, so it is a PY 150 based bright green yellow over here. So that's my 11 little pans. They fit perfectly in the middle of this iron, sorry, they call it iron. It's not iron, it's steel. Pan palette here, which is really neat. Makes me happy. It's like one of these like oddly satisfying things where like you have some stuff that doesn't fit perfectly anywhere, and a container that seems poorly designed, and then it fits just this one thing perfectly. Do you like the Quin Lilac? I haven't tried it yet. So it does look like it's been squeezed out, but actually that was just, again, so the story here is I have this here. You're only going to see the top of it. This is a advent calendar sort of situation. And last year I had some health issues that prevented this from coming out, but last year I was going to do a series of shorts where I unboxed and played with one paint every day, and I had both a co-op student working for me and a an assistant at the time. My assistant is on leave and I don't have a co-op student right now, but last year I did. And they got together and they went shopping. They asked some friends for help, and they got a bunch of interesting things for me to try, which includes these guys at the bottom here, as well as these tubes. To be honest, part of the reason why I hadn't tried them was I was kind of curious in some cases whether I might just put them back into the advent calendar and make that series after all this year. Even though I've now seen them, I mean, I can still, it was a surprise for me once, we can just pretend, right? But I'm happy to try these out now. I'll just go get some little half pans so I can squeeze them up. So then we'll also try these. This one is Golden Brown, which is made with, I think, 2 pigments, PY43 and PBR7, so we'll try that. I'll just throw that in here. I'm also quite happy to get some other Rosa Gallery paints if people are curious, but I had considered the options. Hi Lana! I'm playing with stuff from, I'm playing with some Rosa Gallery paints here, as well as you can see I've got the other stuff from that advent calendar situation that I've put in this set as well. So this is one of my little heavy metal tins that fits those 11 Rosa Gallery pans I bought just perfectly. Let me just find what the pigment numbers and names of all of these are, and I'll write them down. And then today I will be probably, instead of working on one of these guys, so this is my, this is what I was working on last week. That's almost done. This guy needs a few more touches, but this is one of my little aqua board panels. Instead, I'm going to be making a loose watercolor greeting card. Because I have a wedding to attend tomorrow. And it turns out that as much as I enjoy painting mushrooms and crusty dying branches, that is maybe not the message that you want to put on a wedding card. So I want something a little bit maybe clearly cheerier than my usual morbid and creepifying tastes. Sorry, let me just find sorry. Oh shoot, I should go find what all my paints are. So let's see. Right, so this one they call Flame Red. So this is Aureoline, PY150. Anyway, I keep on getting sidetracked. I don't know, I guess my stimulants, I have had not enough of a dose, or it's a little bit, or it's not quite kicked in yet. Anyway, the other thing that I wanted to potentially play with is some mixes with PG-17. So I got these 11 paints, and there were several things, like several different combinations that I was thinking I might try. One of them was seeing whether I could play with different uses for PG-17. So one of them was a secondary. I don't know that secondary idea is really gonna work quite how I wanted, but I was thinking it might be interesting to combine PG-17 with some really bright colors, but have them be very different from it on the color wheel, so that then, you know, I could have some muted greens, but it wouldn't just be this like, oh, why are these greens so depressing? Because it would be, the other colors would be really bright but very different. So like by contrast, the PG-17 wouldn't look dull. I don't know that this is the right, you know, I think it might be a little bit too dark. I think I might want something else in it, but I can play with that. Sorry, this is Flame Red. Sorry, let me look at what's in the Flame Red. PO73. This is burgundy, red, PR177. This is opera, made with PR122 and it's not P, plus fluorescent. This is, what's it? Gosh darn. Like a fairy forest themed. Oh, sorry. I think that would be lovely. I'm just in the context, so in the context of I'm attending a wedding, I think that, I don't know. I mean, I suppose I could do something like this and put it on the front of a card, and it would be curious, but, you know, in keeping with my own character. But I decided that instead of using a printed card of my own, I'd actually just make a card today. I have some stuff to use, so I'm gonna paint a card. I'm happy to take suggestions about what I'm doing on these cards. I did go through a little bit earlier. I'll put this away over on my other desk, and then I'll go through the materials that I've got. So I have a bunch of these papers. So these are handmade papers from, these are the canal paper from Papeterie Saint-Armand, which is a paper maker in, they used to be based in Montreal. They're just outside, they're on the lower St. Lawrence now. So they're a Québécois Canadian paper maker. Most of the art supply stores here sell their stuff, but the papers they sell, the watercolor papers that they sell from this paper maker are usually this line, which is like, it's a really soft paper. Like, it's heavy, but it's really soft, and it's got a gelatin sizing, but it's not the most sized, so it's gonna bleed a little. And it's also got a very rough finish. So it's very different from the usual paper that I use, but I got some because it's Canadian and I wanted to try it, and it seems like it might be nice to make a wedding card with, because these are like, these papers are made like, this is the size that they're made, so it's got a decal edge all the way. And then I've also got some other, like, even more weird paper options where, oh, whoops, I wet these. Uh-oh, whatever, they'll recover. These are made from dog strangling vine. These are papers that I made at a residency. I'll just let them dry. And then I've also got some pieces of birch bark paper that I could potentially, I don't know, do some crafts with. I'm not convinced that I'm quite that crafty. Have to do a little bit more planning, although I'm really quite willing to take suggestions here. Sorry, this is dioxazine. I mean, I don't even know that they call it dioxazine, sorry. This is the PV29. This is their Payne's Gray. I should look at what the pigments are. And a great way to use metallic paints like the Greeting in Gold. Yeah, I think I have some gold paint hiding around somewhere. It'd be nice if I had like a brighter gold ink. We'll see what my options are. Let me just pick up guys. Yeah, maybe I'll use some of these toe beans ones. So these aren't quite gold, but I do have some metallics. These are also from my little advent calendar thing. These are from Toe Beans Hobbies. These are little metallic paints that I could absolutely use some of. And I'll see if I've got gold hiding somewhere. I'm sure I have like gold watercolor. When I tried, what else do I have? I do have some gold from Beam Paint on this little swatch card thing. Now the problem with this gold is that it is a little bit, in my experience, just a little bit like it's a little bit transparent, so I almost would want to apply it over a different color, like over, if I did the paint and in something like more of a richer brown or orange or something, and then applied this over top, because this will give a nice shimmer, but just to have it be a little bit more saturated, like even if I applied it over something like this guy. See what I mean? So that it's just a little bit more complete. Oh, I've been looking at that Beam Gold turtle for a long time. Like it is very tempting. Now the thing is, they have sort of gone a little bit, they've backslid a little, where like the turtles used to be a little bit more detailed, I feel, and that they then, like, understandably, because they, although they're still, you know, a small company, they've gone much more mass market. So anyway, I might like do some lettering and then apply that over top. I'm also just going to try these little toe beans ones. And then I'm not sure if I want to do like a bouquet of flowers or just like a repeating sort of pattern. Again, I'm really happy to hear suggestions. So this is the Poison Ivy. So these have like, I don't know, like color change shimmers in them. Oh man, these are pretty cute. These are pretty cool. Ooh, look at that. Yes, I could do some really nice shimmery patterns here. Is that visible, like in the camera, how much these are shimmering? They are really shimmery. I'll hold it up and move it once I've got on I'm also going to try, I think, directly on that paper, because I think it's going to be interesting with the texture as well. Oh, those are pretty. Maybe something like orchids. Yeah, I could absolutely do orchids. I did an orchid design for my sister's wedding. I did her invitations years and years and years ago. She got married, oh gosh, 7 years ago, I think? 7? 8? 8 years ago, my goodness. She just had her anniversary, and I took care of my niece for the day. Took the little girl out for lunch. The little girl is such a little greedy guts. She's so different from her brother. Her brother, you take him out to eat, and he doesn't. He picks at his food. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going out with a 2-year-old. I looked at the menu, and she was like, she wanted to go for sushi. So we went for sushi. And I asked her what she wanted. She says fishies. She wants salmon. Fishies. Oh, how much fishies? Lots of fishies. And she points at the item on the menu. She just wanted like just the fish. She just wanted sashimi. I'm looking at her and like she's not gonna eat a whole serving of sashimi. She's just a little kid. Okay, well what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a salmon tray, and it has salmon sushi, and it has these rolls. And it was a little like the whole tray combo was a little bit more than I would usually eat just on my own. But I thought, okay, well, she'll eat a little and I'll eat the rest. And that was a mistake. I should have just gotten her the sashimi, because she ate all of the salmon. Basically, like I got 2 rolls before she got to them. She ate all of the salmon off of the main tray, and then I ended up getting sashimi anyway. Kid really wanted fish. Ooh, that purple, like I could do a little purpley thing. That could be fun. Yeah, it's just, well, I mean, my sister has 2 kids. One of them is 5.5, the other one's 2.5, and her older kid really doesn't eat very much at all. Like, you take him out and he just picks at his food. I mean, first of all, he's really picky, but like even the foods that he likes, he'll just like pick at a little bit. You know, he'll have a few bites, he'll eat around the edges. And so I'd been used to taking him out, because, you know, he's the age that I've been taking him out for years now. I was used to him, and I knew that my niece eats more. I mean, for starters, he's 5.5, she's 2.5, and she's the bigger child. So I knew that she eats a lot more, but like I was still sort of like gauging by like, oh, she eats more than her brother, but like, you know, she's still a little kid. But oh no, she eats more than I do. It's not a problem at all. Just came as a bit of a surprise. Anyway, so I could do some of these fun shimmers as well. My girl's like, just the rice from sushi places. The filling or topping they could do without. So my niece was kind of the other way around, where she left me the rice, and then in the rolls had sushi and avocado, and she ate some of the avocado. She does like avocado. But mostly she was quite serious that she just wanted salmon. And I should have just gotten her the plate of sashimi, which I ended up getting her anyway, but if I'd gotten her the plate of sashimi to begin with, I could have had some more intact rolls. Because by the end she was slowing down, and I did end up having some of the sashimi at the end, but like... Yeah, she had the salmon and I had the rice. I had the rice and like a little bit of the... But she just wanted the salmon, like whatever. I should have just gotten her the sashimi. Alright. Well, that's fun. I am going to slide this over. So I've got a little bit more room to work. Move this back. And I'm going to take one of these bigger pieces and see how this plays. So if I wanted to do, you know, if I just gently write like, like, I just want to see whether I can get this fully whether this is legible, like if I write on this. So this isn't the piece that I'm going to paint for the actual card. I've got some folded. Let's see if okay, I'm gonna also try these guys. So this is, whoa. Huh. So the golden brown, I was expecting it to be, I don't know, more golden. It is quite dark, quite a dark brown, really. That's interesting. I've also still got some glitter left over clearly in my paper, so that's a bit of a granulation effect. And then I've also got some of this. Ooh, oh, that is pretty. I do like this lilac color. It's very, very, like it's, what it looks like actually, I mean, it's like the quinacridone violet shade of PV19, but it's quite rich. It looks similar to some of the PR88s that I've got. Okay, so that's an option. Okay, so if I take bring all the kids and one eats only fish, the other is the rice. Yes, well, that is absolutely what would happen if I had the two kids with me, as I think my nephew doesn't eat the fish, he only eats the rice. Although he would not eat as much of the rice as my niece ate of the fish by any means. Anyway, so if I do this, I'm going to see if I can do this here, and I'm going to play with this and see whether I can do, ooh. So I'm applying just the golden ochre first. And I might drop in, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in a few drops of this burgundy as well. And then I'll do gold over top. I think that should be fun. And see how that looks. And then so I can do some lettering on this. So this isn't a, this isn't the final piece by any means. This is just a piece of the same paper so that I'm familiar with how it behaves. I just want to see if I throw some of this in there, how that looks. Also, maybe if I throw in some like yellows or oranges. I want to do a little bit of, like, have a little bit of variation there so it looks a little bit more gold too. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw in a little bit of yellow in here. Ooh. Anyway, yes, my lesson from Tuesday was when the 2-year-old says what she wants, she's quite serious and she knows what she wants. How about you listen to the 2-year-old? But if I do a little bit here, oh, and a little bit of this orange here. I don't know that this color variation is really necessary. Maybe I'll just stick with the one color. Add some water. Or I just use the yellow and the gold ochre. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just use the yellow and the gold ochre, and then I'm going to paint over top with the gold so that it's shimmery gold. Does that seem... So this is, again, I'm just trying to see how, because this paper is so bumpy, like, I just want to make sure the paper is really bumpy and I'm not used to doing too much in the way of brush lettering, so just want to make sure that I can write things in a way that's really legible. Maybe if I throw in a little bit more of this, a little bit more of this. Okay, so thoughts on what I should put on the actual cards. So when I fold these, so this is one piece, and as you can see, it's deckled all the way around. So this is like one piece of paper that was this size to begin with. So I don't really want to cut it. This is kind of an awkward set of dimensions for a card, but I'm sure I can find or make an envelope that will fit. Probably end up making an envelope. So this is my card. I think I'm going to use this. Do we have thoughts on what I should put over the front of the card. I could do some lettering in the middle, like congratulations or wedding wishes or something through the middle, and do some loose flowers around the edges. That's one option. I could do just the flowers on the front and do some lettering on the inside. I could do some kind of a scene. I could do like a pattern, like a repeating pattern. What's that artist? There's an artist who I used to follow who does like almost like Scandinavian folk art type patterns, but where she'll just do like a repeating pattern where she'll come up with a theme where she's painting, I don't know, like she's painting tulips, and she'll do a whole bunch of tulips in a sort of like interlocking repeating pattern, where they're freehand, so they're a little bit scroogey, but it's almost like a textile design sort of thing. Hi Barbara, how are you? Yes, I also have zero experience with lettering, or with loose florals, or with whatever. This is all just, we're all just winging it. And then I'm happy to take suggestions about color stories and what I want to do. One possible option is to somewhat lean into, sorry, I'm going to move these over to my palette here. One option is to lean into my, like I have my almost, my, what I called my Zotanical palette here, where I played with Golden Ochre, Payne's Gray, and Burgundy Red, and that is a really neat moody palette. I could do like some roses that are really, really deep red, and something in that Payne's Gray category. I could also do, like I could also go find a different blue that's just a little bit brighter. So I know that their wedding colors, because my husband's in the wedding party, are like this burgundy and a navy. Now the navy's a little bit brighter than this, but I could do that. Like I could just lean into their wedding colors a little bit. Or I could do something entirely different. I could do something really bright and cheery. I could do, yeah. Suggestions about design, because this is all very new to me. Because I usually paint detailed, crusty branches and mosses and lichen. I have some water. So I'm eager to hear suggestions. This is still wet. If I take this, I can start playing with, yeah. What's my design? If you were getting married tomorrow, what would you like me to put on your card? And you can do the lettering inside. Okay, so just some loose florals on the front and the, okay, sure, I can do that. I'm gonna see whether I have a blue handy that I want to use instead of that Payne's Gray, because it's just a little bit more muted, I think. That's right, yep. Okay, so I have another one of these guys that has some, that is very odd. Why is that so folded out of shape? That has some samples from a couple of different handmade paint companies. These are all lifting out of their little pans, not impressed. Okay, whatever. Ah. Yep, and I'm happy for them to do that. That would be great. I believe these are the E&L paints on this side, and that the indigo I was not particularly impressed with. Like, it's just a little bit too muted. It's not so bad. It looked really wimpy when I tried it before, I think. Where I liked the E&L paints better than I liked the other paints on here. But I found the indigo a little bit too muted, but this isn't so bad. So maybe I'll use that. There was another indigo here from, oh, I forget who the maker is, but it's almost like they've switched. Oh, no, that's what's as it's wetting down, it's a little bit better. So I don't know, maybe, but it's about the same. I don't know why I hated the E&L one so much. When I first tried it, it just seemed like the top, maybe it was just the top of the paint, and now it's better. Okay, maybe I'll use that. Maybe I'll use that, and I'll use the burgundy. If I use this blue and a burgundy as the main, no, that's not burgundy, that's, the burgundy is here, okay. And the burgundy here as my main colors. And then if I mix them together, then I can do like this, and over here, give it some more, and a little bit of there. Oh, that's kind of neat. Would you do accent, like brighter accents, or just stay with the really limited palette? That's pretty neat. Yeah, I quite like that. Okay. Yeah. All right. And then for yellow, I could either do the thing where I keep, I feel like maybe I do a brighter yellow, but like an orangey yellow, like this is an Indian yellow type color. Oh, I like it. It's really bright and cheery. And then I can mix that with this. And don't really get an orange, but that's okay. Don't need to. Oh, I'm off screen, one moment. And I'm spilling water everywhere. Hooray! Okay, I'm gonna move these paints into my other palette so that I have them all in the same place, because this is a little crazy. Would you put any shimmer, like any gold accents on the front? Yeah, it is beautiful. Yeah, I also like the yellow. I do have a video about this. This is ENL paints. I don't recall exactly what the, maybe when I pull it out. They're really lodged in there. Sorry, I am going to have to wash my hands in a moment because I'm trying to get these out so I can put them in the other palette. So that yellow is lovely. It has bled all over this palette, which was like face up in a cabinet the whole time. So just be aware of that, that is a very escapey little yellow. I will do that and those. Okay, I'm gonna go wash my hands because my hands are all full of paint now from moving this, but I just wanted to get my paints all arranged in the same palette. Okay, I got a suggestion of orchids, so I'm gonna look up orchids. I'm also happy to hear other suggestions of flowers, and if anybody knows about meanings of flowers, like what they're associated with, that would be lovely. I am gonna go look at images. Do we have a specific idea about what kind of orchids? Let's look up what the meaning of orchids is. Beauty and good taste, thoughtfulness, refinement, fertility, beauty, charm, and love. Okay, that's good. All good things. I could absolutely have like a spray of orchids coming in here where I have like all of the different orchids in here. But do I want like a bouquet or like just a single spray, or what am I doing? Or if I have it coming in from the other side, then I can have it coming in from the top where it's let me just go back to here. Maybe a burgundy orchid with yellow near the middle. Kind of like my swatch. Oh, that sounds familiar. That's what I did for my sister's wedding invitations. I think I actually have a card that looks just like that. So the wedding colors are more of the burgundy and the red, but I do think that I need some kind of an accent somewhere. Let's see if I can see like orchid in a bouquet. Where it's like mixed flowers. I don't want to go too close to my sister's just because that would be weird. I don't know, something. Just because I designed her whole like wedding stationery set and that was all yellow orchids. She really likes yellow. The yellow is not really the highlight here. Okay. So sometimes people do like bouquets with orchids. That's also an option. So I could have like a spray here. I could also get some of the green in there, where I could have some flowers, all different kinds of flowers, maybe some orchids in here, all sorts of flowers, and then some leaves, foliage, all in here. And the foliage could do like, we could do like a greeny foliage as well, greeny blue. That could be nice. So that's like kind of a fall look with maybe I'll do that. Orchids and roses. I mean, of course, I'm getting creative, right? So, like, I could do just Phalaenopsis orchids, but if somebody has other suggestions. Okay, I've got this. I'm gonna try putting in some gold over top. Let's see. Okay, so I think it looks better without the red. The red isn't really helping here, it's just making it look not as gold. But that if I have some of that brown does look good underneath, so I can do that. I don't think the orange is going to help either, so I'll just probably just do the brown and maybe some yellow. Seems like the thing to do, and I can do that over top. Do I want this facing up or facing sideways? Sideways would give me more room to write inside, so maybe I'll do that sideways, which means I need to rethink what my pattern on the front is. Just need to sort out my let's see. Maybe if I look up burgundy orchids and then I can do the If I did them mostly burgundy, I could do just a little bit of yellow. I could do orchids. I could do... so many choices. So many choices. I don't know where they're seeing. How many choices? Okay, back to here. If I do this over this way, so it's going to be oriented this way, what do I want with my flowers? I feel like I'm overcomplicating things now, where I'm turning into myself too much, and I just wanted something fairly simple over the front. So if I have I'm going to start with practicing over here. So if I wanted to do just a very loose orchid, I'm going to get some of my burgundy pre-wet here. And if I just did, I'm actually going to practice on this piece. And if I just did something like a and here. Right, so if I do that, I've got some burgundy on there. I've got some yellow. I'm just going to put in here. Ooh, look at that. So if I just put some yellow in from the middle and some burgundy out on the sides. Ooh, look at that. Oh my goodness. But you see how it just flows? Like it's going to feather like crazy because this paper has very little in the way of sizing. So I can do something like this in here. That's fun. did I put my... So I have a piece of cotton rag here for blotting my brush that I have. There we go. Right here. And then we can do here. Okay, maybe I do just a spray of orchids. Where do I work in the navy then? Just around the edges of the orchids, like maybe in the... Orchids don't have a whole lot of foliage. Like I kind of want to have a little bit more of a defined foliage area. I'm going to do something in here. Alright, I'm just trying to look up right now just like some orchids in bouquets. Trying to see whether like what I want to put around it. Like do I want to do... Oh, maybe I could do like a loose background around some orchids. That's a thought. Ooh, or here we go. Here's some, because I just kind of, I guess I kind of want to include some of this blue, and that's a little bit difficult to do if I'm doing just flowers. And I'd like to, so then like maybe some foliage, maybe some other something. maybe include a little bit of gold. I'm getting complicated with this. I'm quite happy to just... Oh, because sometimes, yeah, so we could have like the edges of the... orchids just... So if I have this vertically, because I could have something coming down from the corner, just trying to play with, sorry, this is going to be, it's a little bit narrower here. If I have, sometimes they've got like really fun little, like, because orchids have these little edges, so we could have these and some little curly bits that come out here, and then in the middle we could have some more like roses and some orchids here, some flowers, some... I feel like I'm overcomplicating again. I don't want it to just be like really don't want it to be like, I'm not, well, first of all, I don't have the time or the paper to do something super detailed. Like, I do want this textured paper. I think it's nice. I think it looks great, and I'm going for something a little bit more simplified than my usual. I'm looking at floral arrangements right now. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so if I take this and I'm gonna throw an image up into, okay, wait, actually, maybe if I do that. Okay, so I have this here, and I do this thing there, and I have, so I'm looking up pictures of floral arrangements, and I've got some orchids here that have, these are different orchids I'm not really familiar with. Oh no, those aren't orchids, those are snapdragons. Huh. No, oh, the orchids are on the other side. What am I gonna do about that? The simplest thing would be to do just a spray of orchids, but then I don't know, orchids. I'm looking at wedding arrangements with orchids right now that try to visualize what the heck I'm painting. Okay, so my issue is I don't want it to just be like just this burgundy. As pretty as it is, I want there to be other colors in it. In particular, I would like to get some blues and greens in there. And so I'm trying to add a little bit more variation, a little bit more fun. Like I don't want it to just be like, here's a spray of orchids. Why I don't want that, I don't know, but it's a strong want. So I am looking at other flower arrangements to try to picture how I'm gonna arrange this, because I have a vision I can't quite describe in my head. Lately painting ivy symbolizing fidelity, friendship, and an eternal love was, oh, okay, I can definitely do ivy in there. So I could do coming down from the top with some ivy. Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it, I think. I think I've done enough crazy overthinking, and I'm just gonna go look up some images of bouquets that have orchids. Yes, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I've just got some images that have orchids and roses in them, and I'm gonna do something. So I am just looking at pictures on the internet. I will actually later show some of the pictures that I referenced, because I have a lot of opinions about responsibly using references. So over here I am going to use some of my green. So I am actually going to use a little bit of this. So this is this is PG-17 and I'm gonna add in a little bit of that yellow. So these are just little orchid buds coming up. So I'm going to have orchids down here. And let me see, I'll throw in and a tiny bit of that blue, because we do want some blue in here. So these are just going to be little orchid buds coming down here. So I'm going to have a spray of orchids, I'm going to have some foliage coming down, and I'm going to do some roses up near the top. I think that's what I'm doing. And I am using that this sorry. Oh, it dries really dull. That's why I didn't like it. Okay, sorry. This was really bright when it was more saturated, but it dried down dull, whereas the other one I think dried down brighter. That's interesting. Okay. I may end up swapping out which of my indigos I'm using, because I prefer something that's a little bit brighter. But I'm going to have a fairly limited palette, and then I may go in I'm just going to use this indigo as is. If it's dull, it's dull, whatever. So this is going to bleed, and so as a result, I am going to try to throw in some, like, rather than have it all be wet and wet, I am going to throw in some edges, a little bit of line, and we'll throw that there and here, yes, and there. Okay, and then over here we're gonna have I'll move that over there so I can look at it over here, then we'll go read my comments. Color combo is beautiful. Yeah, so I have my PG-17 over here. I have this yellow over here. Oh, that's got some PG-17 in it. Got this yellow here. I've got my burgundy, and I've got a and I've got looking very purple, a indigo, and I think that all works. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm just sort of making up a little bouquet as I go along. So I'm going to have some edges that come down, but it's going to come up from this corner here. And then inside I will write something like wedding wishes in watercolor lettering and add some gold. I may also try to add a few little gold accents on the front as well. It would be nice if I had like a deeper gold, like a gold, you know, one of those like gold lettering pens, but I don't. I suppose I probably could get one before tomorrow. I still need to figure out my makeup. I haven't worn makeup in a really long time. I enjoy it sometimes, but I have serious cosmetic allergies, and I think I finally figured out what they were. Unfortunately, I figured out what my cosmetic allergies are by buying a bunch of stuff I can't return and applying it to my face and breaking out a couple days ago, and then again yesterday. Sorry, orchid. Okay. I am going to take this little, it's a Prismacolor pencil, and I'm just going to sort of outline where I want my next orchid to be, because it's just a little bit difficult to try to imagine just on my own without any kind of guidance. So that's going to be there over here. Okay, and we'll make it a little bit smaller even. So yes, there is a little wee bit of the blue on here. That's deliberate because I do want it to be oh. Okay, so I am going to just apply that there, apply this here. Maybe I won't do as much of this. Or maybe I'll do some pencil after the fact, before and after. Have some loose pencil that doesn't quite correspond to where the, yeah, maybe that's better. Okay. Yep. Then we're going to take this, go here, beep, beep, beep. Okay, that's a little messy. I'll just have to figure that out later. Maybe I will blot this out so I have a little bit more room to play with it. That's a thought. Yep, okay, so I will see about how to fix that particular flower and make it look right later. Then we'll take another one over here. And that's gonna have a thing over here, nothing over there. And we can have, oh look, they've thrown in some so then there's just going to be a little bit of a line here. Oh. Whoop. So these loose watercolor floral things are supposed to be relaxing, but I guess if you're a control freak, it doesn't work that way. Why isn't everything going where I want it to go? Oh yeah, it'll be fine. I just freak out. It'll be fine. It's the edge of, so there's, oh gosh, sorry, I used to know exactly what this is botanically, but the, but we're gonna go with the common descriptor. So the bouquet I'm referencing for this spray has the orchids just dropping down, and they're all facing slightly different directions. If you have an orchid, like a Phalaenopsis orchid, for example, the construction is like this. And sorry, I'm going to call everything petals, even if they're not botanically petals. You have a area like this, and then you have this inner sort of cup shape, and then you've got petals here, and you've got these ones. Anyway, these guys are in here. And I'm not, I put too much in the way of blue here on this shadow. That's fine. I'll deal with it. It'll just, it's called loose florals. I'm just not good at letting go. And I'm referencing flowers that are like a light pink, and I'm turning them into a dark burgundy with these yellow accents, where I'm referencing a specific bouquet just for the shape of this spray of orchids. But I also still want there to be quite a bit of light. Like, I don't want it to be like this really dark, heavy thing. Anyway, I suppose, along with my figuring out if I need to get anything makeup-wise tonight before wedding tomorrow, I can also figure out maybe getting a different and we're just gonna see if I can lift that up. Okay, that's not bad. All right. Take this, take that. Figure out if I need a gold, like if I gold and silver pens to get some additional flecks of detail and stuff in here. I'm gonna bring this a little closer because I'm reaching all the time. I'm gonna bring this a little closer. Hi Paolo, how are you? I'm doing something very different today. I've got rough paper, I'm doing loose florals with gold accents. But it's still me. You haven't stumbled on the wrong creator here. Oh, we wanted ivy, so I'll have ivy as some of the other foliage coming down. Yeah, that'll be nice. Just coming down here, so I'm gonna have like the core of the bouquet, I guess, up here, and then it'll have a spray coming down of orchids and some ivy coming down. Sorry, you keep getting my head in frame, don't you? Okay, good. Paolo, have you spoken to, sorry, have you spoken to Teresa? Because she's happy to get sketchbooks from you, so you can just mail her sketchbooks, but you should probably check in first. Yeah, you send them to Teresa. Teresa is alive and well. She's not very active on Discord, but she will reply to... She'll probably get a reply if you reach her on Discord through DM. She's also active on Instagram. I can give you an email if you like. Bindi was also going to be in touch because Bindi's also been in touch with Teresa. So everyone is around and available and... Okay, great. Yep. Yeah. Double check. I don't think she's moved, but double check. But she's happy to receive sketchbooks. Okay, I'm gonna throw in some extra color there, and we're gonna throw this in here. Yeah. That's there. What else do we want? We want another one up here. Oh, we can throw... Oh good, they figured it out. Awesome. Amazing. Okay, I also want to see, because I'm going to start throwing in okay, Paolo, since you just got here, I will just refresh what the heck I'm doing here. So I've got attending a wedding tomorrow, and I decided to do a hand-painted card, and also decided that my usual decaying stuff is maybe not everyone's taste in a wedding card, so I'm doing something a little bit more, you know, classically wedding-y, and doing some loose florals. I've got some very rough, very lightly sized handmade paper. This is by Papeterie Saint-Armand, which is a Québécois paper maker. These papers come like this is the sheet that it's a very small sheet. Like these are individual. You can see it's deckled edges all the way around, so I just folded one of them in half, which does make this sort of awkward sized card, but I bet I can either, you know, buy or make an envelope that will fit it, and then I will, yeah. So I'm gonna do some ivy here. I've got ivy and these little orchids. Gonna have orchids coming up, and then in the center I'm gonna have some roses and sprays of other stuff. I'm working with a limited palette that's got a burgundy red, an indigo, a chromium oxide green, and this Indian yellow color. They just rang every flat in my side of the building. That's nice of them. I'm glad that they did that. It's so weird that Dan has had so much trouble, because he's like he ships things regularly for his business. He's never, and it's never like, there's never been any issue delivering to me. There's never been any issue, I don't think, delivering to most people. They just really don't like your address, huh? Okay. €18 of taxes. Yeah, I think that's something that you can probably talk through with Dan about having him send it, because that's if it's sent. You should not be paying taxes on sketchbooks because they're not a commercial product, and I think that's pretty much anywhere. Is like it's only taxed on things that you purchase, or if it's a whatever. Like, but if it's a gift. But like documents or gifts should not be taxed. So it's just like how he's filled out I mean, it's whatever, like one individual thing, this happens, but you should be able to, like, and I'm sure that Dan will want to figure out like how to change things so that he's not. Hey, okay, so if I move this and I mix this in with the Oh, yeah, the transaction fee for assessing. Yes, sorry. If you send it through a courier and then they have to assess your duties, yes, I've had to pay that on all sorts of things that are not, that shouldn't even be taxed as well. Like, I'm sure that there are ways around all of this, but yeah, it does get awkward. Oh, that's helpful. So I'm referencing a bunch of different bouquets here. So the goal is I do want to have some, like I'm trying to incorporate the wedding colors, which are burgundy and navy. So I'm trying to incorporate some of that. Well, sorry, I say the wedding colors. I know what the wedding party is wearing. It's possible that they've got other stuff as well. And certainly the invitations were something else entirely. So, but it's nice to be able to include some navy stuff. This has some, I don't even know what these berries are. They almost look like pokeweed berries. This bouquet that I'm referencing. But I'm going to include some of those as well, because then I can have some of that. Yeah, I'm sure that there is a solution, that there is a way to just, but like given the pain in the butt that it was to get it to Paulo in the first place, I think this is a sunk cost. But if we have to, whatever, put in a fund because you are paying more, or Dan's paying more, or whatever, both of you, then you know. I don't mind paying a little extra. I'm shipping into the US, which isn't too terribly expensive. For me, for the time being, and I know for me that I do have, like in my case that I know what the exemptions are, I've got them all sorted out. So despite US tariffs, my shipments are still okay. fun. I'm quite enjoying these little green stuff. Okay, and then where did our other bouquet there go? Oh, I can put some more of those little pokeweed berry things in here. And some more of the ivy. Here they open boxes. Sometimes it helps to have random personal stuff there. Yeah, no, it absolutely does. I often overwrite the customs form because I can print out a customs form from my shop, but then I make sure that I fill in whatever, and then there's a description of the goods, like there's the coding and then like what is this specific thing, and then I'll like make sure that like personal sketchbook blah 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 blah, like what is this, and yeah, like if I have to include a letter, if I have to whatever, like there are ways to make it, you know, less likely that you're gonna have to pay things, but unfortunately it's like, well, you know, they're trying to apply a very broad sort of descriptive rule to everyone, so like, okay, and I want to make that a little bit lighter, so I'm just gonna blot that. Is it a little bit awkward? Yes, okay, and then I'm gonna throw in a little bit more of these little blue guys. Okay, and then we can do another one up here. Getting there. Then, I don't know. Then we're gonna have some of these and go in here. some in the shadows over here, so we're gonna do that. Yep. Thank you. I am struggling over here. Trying to loosen up, trying to like remember what my goals are here, but my my inclination is always to like, okay, but that's, you know, but that sepal's in the wrong spot. Also, this flower arranging thing where I'm trying to arrange a bouquet, like I didn't really plan this out first. I'm just gonna go with the flow. But you know, figuring out my my composition as I go along is interesting. Alright, let's see. This one was a little bud. It goes here. I get this more green portion over here. Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, that's getting a little really large. Oh, no, don't want this green. Let's make this. See? And over here. I want it loose. I'm not trying to make an exact match to any particular flowers, but whoosh. Get carried away. No, although for anyone who does want to see what I was working on, my regular work from last week, this one's now almost done. And then over here I can do another little ivy leaf here. I watched for a bit last week, but it was on the TV, so I could not chat. Oh, that's fine. Bye, Lena. A little darker than I really wanted it to be. That could be there. That could be there. That could be there. Sorry, I'm going to have to quickly run to the washroom. I will be right back. Okay, let's see. What else am I gonna throw in here? One more over here, and then over our No, maybe I'll throw another. Put another orchid over here, another one up here. Over here, I'm gonna have more roses, and then some other fillers. That seems right. That's cool. Okay, so I'm like halfway done, but like really more like 3/4 of the way done because I didn't start for the first hour because I was just obsessing. So I'm gonna throw another orchid over here where I can have it be upside down with these there. There. Then we can throw another one over this way. There. We can have another one of those little, these guys, some more this. Then we're gonna have maybe some little guys. Yeah, these guys could be there. Okay. Let's see. If I throw in a little bit more of this yellow, I'm going to throw in, yeah, see if I do like a purpley thing and I throw in just a yellow, I have a bit more blue. So I've got some little flowers that I want to put in as fillers in between some bigger roses. I don't know, we'll call these, maybe they're just like paperwhites. Like daffodils or carnations or something. Whatever, they're like little flowers. And we'll give them little yellow centers. Well, what I'm finding is that this loose watercolor florals that is largely sold as a, oh, this is a relaxing thing to do, is not relaxing for me because I overthink everything, I guess. I could have, of course, just done like one orchid in the middle, and that would be fine too, but I wanted to do this busy composition thing, and instead I'm stressing about the composition, and I'm stressing about the flowers, and I'm stressing about making them flowers, but also making them look loose, but also getting stuff done. Let's see about painting some roses, huh? I do that. Ta-da, there. Ta-da. So first I'm just gonna do the whole thing, and then I'm gonna lift out some of the details, and then I'll go and I'll add in some more later. I think that's how I'm going to approach these roses. I stepped out for a wee treadmill jog. Looks like it's coming along nicely. Yes. We are discovering that I am stressed out by loose florals, but that the just stop doubting and do the thing strategy works. So hooray for that. I can do some like more yellowy roses too with some of this, some more of that yellow, some more of that yellow, some more of that yellow. Oh my goodness, some more of that yellow. Okay, what if I actually want it to be a little bit darker? If I put in some green, will that be wildly off? That could still work. Okay, if I do just a tiny bit of like some little guys here. That's working. So they're just like a creamy white sort of rose. Ish. And then I can put two more of these big roses in here. And then I'm gonna lift out this because it's just pooling at the bend here. And then I'll do one more here. Okay, bye. I can do another little guy, well, another, I mean these are the huge ones, but I'm putting one in here. It's incomplete, and also I don't even know that I like it there. Yeah, I can put another incomplete one up here. Do another sort of medium one here. Okay, I feel like I am getting a little impatient here. Just need to take a little breath. Kind of wanted to finish this on stream. I'm not sure that's something I'm going to be able to do. Breathe. You've crossed the 3-hour mark. I have crossed the 3-hour mark, which is usually the time that I need to take a break. So I might just take that cue and take the break, and whatever. I may decide to actually go do an impromptu live later. I don't know. But I think I do need to take a break, and yeah. Yep, I will post a finished photo when I'm done, which will be probably tonight, maybe tomorrow, probably tonight, just so that I'm not rushing around tomorrow. Alright, I think that's it. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.